Hey, here we are. We're back. What's up?
I don't know.
Michelle is here. We got Ruben here. How's it going,
Good. I
everybody?
was hoping I wasn't the only one, but I'm not turning my camera on. I hope that's okay.
You know what? That's it. Get out of here. No cameras, no training. That's it. That's the way
No,
it works.
maybe another
No problem. We've got the Facebook feed going here. We got the Zoom room, and I think we're on YouTube as well. I'm not quite sure, but I think we are. Welcome, everyone. It is Command 101 time, Tuesday, April 12th, and we're going to be going over contacts, the heart of your database today. So that's going to be our primary focus. Hope you guys are ready for this, and let's dive right in. And we're going to start with on the home screen here in Command. And just to reiterate, Command's home screen is agent.kw.com. So if you're trying to figure out how to get into Command, that's how you do it. And once you're in there, you're going to see on the dashboard here, which is customizable, by the way. You can actually change some things around here and adjust them the way you want by clicking that little customize home button. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the next little application down, or the applet down, and it's called contacts. So one of the things that I do in the original, or the class that I did last week with this, which is an introduction to Command as a program, is we talk about how everything is connected to contacts. Just to give you a brief rundown of that, the contact area is to do with tasks, because our tasks are related to contacts. The smart plans go out to our contacts. The drip campaigns, the marketing campaigns go out to our contacts. We refer contacts out to other agents, and we also accept contacts in as referrals from other agents. Our opportunities are to do with our contacts. These are the people that we do the transactions with. Our campaigns go out to our contacts. They can also go out in other places, but generally speaking, most of our campaigns are going to be going out to the contacts in our database. Our reports, this is a little broader. This one covers the contacts and all the other things going on, but our contacts are in our reporting. The design area is used to create the designs for the campaigns and the smart plans, which go out to our contacts. The listing area is where we will find all of our contacts and the homes that they've bought and sold from us. And our consumer area is where we can capture information from people who visit our website and turn them into contacts and market with them, sell them things, sell their homes and sell them homes. So that's everything in this entire program, and it all centers around the contacts. If you don't have any contacts in your application, in this database, you're not going to be doing smart plans. You're not going to be having any tasks. You're not going to have any opportunities, because you can't create these other objects unless you have a base set of contacts. So the question then becomes, what does the contacts list look like? Who are these people? Why are they in my database? And how do they get there? And what's the purpose? Well, Command is a CRM. It's a customer relationship management tool. And there's been many before this program, and there will be many of these types of programs after. And the idea here is to manage your relationship with the people that are in your database. Some people say that you don't need a lot of people in your database because you're only managing the relationships that you currently have. Okay, there is some logic to that, which basically says I'm only using it transactionally. The only people that are in my database are the people that I'm transacting with. Okay, fair enough. Then there are others who would say that the database is your building tool. It's the building block for all of your business, which means there are people in your database that you do not know, that you've never met, you've never spoken with. How did they get there? Maybe you got them through a lead service. Maybe you purchased a list of a particular residential area. Maybe you got one from a Chamber of Commerce event, a networking event, people that stopped by your website, people that visited your Facebook page, and the list goes on and on and on. And they came to your database, and it's your job to reach out to them and turn them into customers from contacts. The other place that they may have come from is the people that you already know, your sphere of influence. And so let's talk about that for a moment. A lot of new agents that I speak with, when we say, have you gotten or have you added the people that are in your phone, in your email list, in your any of the areas where you have your family and friends and relationships, have you added those people to your database yet? And sometimes the answer is no. Why would I? Those aren't business people. Those aren't the people that I'm trying to sell houses to. And our counterpoint to that is very, very simple. Everyone in your world should know what you do, and you should be communicating with them. And everyone in your world is an advocate for you to build your business. It doesn't mean you have to browbeat your family into telling other people about you being a real estate agent. But if your extended sphere doesn't know what you do, then how can they keep you on top of mind and refer you out to people that they know, to the third level of that relationship? So we suggest putting everybody into your database. There is the whole thing about, do I have permission to market to my sphere, to these other people that I meet, to the people that I got at the chamber, networking events? Do I have the permission to do that? And that's something that you have to seek out from the individuals that you add to your database. And one of the ways you can do that is to market to them and see if they're willing to receive information from you. Hey, I'm Robert. I'm a real estate agent, and I just wanted to add you to my database and send you information once in a while about the real estate market, the things that I'm doing, the areas that I'm, that I service. And if so, let me know, and I'd love to be able to continue to reach out to you. If they say no, then you mark them as a do not contact and you move on. But in your particular sphere of influence, those contacts should be in your database, at least in the beginning. And then as you move through, you can kind of organize them in or out of your marketing plans and your programs. Now, when we talk about these contacts in here, when we talk about everything that's in the database, we want to think about how we're going to organize, manage, and work with these people that are in the database. The database itself is quite simply just an Excel list, really, when it gets right down to it. It's just a list of people, phone numbers, contact information, and what they do. Let me go ahead and just grab, I'll grab anybody here. I'll take, actually, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna stay with Alana today. So I'm gonna find Alana, and here is her contact card. So when I searched for her, when I clicked in that search box to search for Alana, the default for searching was for everything. I could have searched by first name, last name, email, or address, but the default in here is everything. And quite frankly, that's the best way to search for them. Let me give you, while I'm here, I might as well give you a cool little tip. It's not just the name, right? We can search for email, but here's the fun thing. In the case of Keller Williams Coastal Lakes and Mountains Realty, we use the extension kwclm.com for our email. I can actually search for @kwclm.com, and it will pull up all of the people in our market center that have that KWCLM email. And there are 23 of them. And these are the 23 people that I share with everyone when I do a database setup with you guys. So using the email extension, I was able to find people. If you have an email extension for Lonza or for the Mall of, New Hampshire over there in Manchester, if you have extensions for emails you've got a group of people, you can actually filter for them just by using their extension on their email. Just a cool little trick. Of course, doing one by Gmail would probably give you much of your database, but you get the idea. So, and we're going to talk about filtering and finding people and doing that kind of looking for people. So let's go ahead and open up Alana here and let's talk about the information that we have at the contact level in our database. So when Alana loads up here, the screen is split in two parts. On the left-hand side, we call this the contact card. It's just a name we gave it. The contact card, kind of like a Rolodex. If you're not familiar with a Rolodex, go talk to your grandfather. They know what it is. The left-hand side has all of their information. On the right-hand side of this split down the middle is their activities. So this is the activity section where we have all of the information about this contact. The default is to show you the timeline here, and this shows you what you've transacted by date, and you have the different types of activities. So meetings, calls, emails, texts, and so forth. We're going to get into this a little bit further. And then we have opportunities, which is business transactions that we've created or worked with these people. Smart plans, which is part of our drip campaign and marketing. Tasks, again, we talked about that very briefly in the beginning. These are tasks that we need to do or take care of for this contact. A note section, which sounds so mundane and sounds so, it's a note section, whatever. I'm going to be honest with you. This is my favorite tool right here, the note section, because of what it can do. And I'll show you in a little bit what we can use the notes area for. And then finally, saved searches. Michelle, you and I spoke about this just the other day, where we were talking about creating customized housing searches for our individual contacts. This is in addition to the ability to notify them in general about what's coming up in the neighborhood that they either live in or that they're thinking about moving to. So those are our activities, and we're going to go through each one of those separately and talk about how these activities relate to other areas of the database. But let's move back to the left here and let's talk about this contact card. So of course we have our name, and I want to give you, this is the number one most important absolute law that I'm going to give you as a real estate agent using Keller Williams command database. The contact name is always a person. It's a human being, and it is always a single human being. In this case, Alana Babineau. And I qualify that because I see a lot of databases where people put in the name of a street address. And I've worked with some agents that have been in the business for a while, and I was quite honestly shocked to learn that some real estate agents do not see people. They see addresses. They think, oh, I sold that house 10 years ago. Who'd you sell it to? I don't know. Does it matter? That alone to me was shocking. And so what they were doing was they were putting addresses into the name field for a contact because that's all they cared about. I care about the house. I care about what the house is worth, and I'm going to go try to sell that house again. I found that a little bit disturbing because I feel like this business should be centered around people. So when we say enter a contact, we're talking about a human. We're talking about a person. We're not talking about a business. We're not talking about an LLC. We're not talking about an incorporation. We're talking about the person that is going to sign the contract. And I'm using the singular of that because this is also not about people. We don't put two names in here. We don't put Alana and Robert. We don't put Michelle and Robert. We don't put anything in here that is a combination. And just to let you know, this program does not like middle names. Now, that doesn't mean you can't put one in here, but it doesn't like to have three names in the field. So, Alana Louise Babineau, for example, we wouldn't be able, we could put that in there, but the system cuts off the middle names and just goes to the last name. That's not to say that we cannot use middle names in our transactions, but I just want you to understand that it's designed and it's trying to keep, one person in here. Now, when we say that, what we want to think of is, here is a person with a name, not, we don't add trustee to the end of this because that's not the name of a person, that's a role. So we don't do things like that. Now, what we can do is I'll scroll down to the bottom of the screen here, and we can add relationships and create relationships between multiple people in our database. So maybe Alana's spouse or significant other is in the database here as, Michael Babineau or, whatever name he might have. We can relate those two people together using this relationship tool. And because of that, we can actually create an opportunity, a contract, where we have both people. One is the seller one and one is the seller two, or one is the buyer one and one is the buyer two, or the leasee one and the leasee two. So we can use these relationships to create those multi-name transactions, but this is the best way to do it. Okay. So now that we've got that straight, we understand that it's always a person, it's never people, and it's never a thing, or it's never a place. Below that, we have a little thing that's talking about our contact health score. And all this is really doing is telling you how likely, what is the percentage of the ability to reach out and communicate with this person. And right now, my health score for Alana is 100%, which means, in the simplest of terms, 100% of Command's abilities can be applied to reach out and communicate with Alana. The mailing, the phone calls, the texting, the neighborhood nurtures, the saved searches, tasks, smart plans, opportunities, and then the list goes on. Okay, all of those tools are available. 100% of those tools are available because of the completeness of the information that we've collected on Alana. You know, there's no getting around this, and there's no surprise in saying this, but data is everything in this modern world. And because of that, the more data that you've collected on someone, the more that you'll have the ability to communicate with them effectively in all channels at all times. So you want to have as much as you can. Getting 100% is not easy. And the only reason I'm able to do this is because I work with Alana and I know the information, and I'm giving it from more of a company perspective than I am an individual perspective. So when I look at this, I want to think about, if I needed to, could I call her? Well, yeah, because she's 100% here. So I know when I see my health score is 100% that I can reach out to people. One of the other elements of a health score is the neighborhoods. And you'll notice here that right now, there's no selected neighborhood here, but I do have a physical address. Okay. So one of the cool things here is I can add a neighborhood based on her physical address. Why is that? Oh, it's missing a 0. Look at that. 03801, 03801. And let's say we'll go with Spinnaker Point. We'll go South Lillington, right? There we go. So now I've added a neighborhood to her. Now I can actually market to her with neighborhood nurture programs. So these tools, all of this stuff, all of this goodness contributes to me being able to reach out to them. So let's talk about that health score again for just 1 second. I'm going to go over on the left-hand side, and I'm going to come down here to reports. And in the reports section, one of the things in here is a database health report. And this database health report right here shows me that my database is sitting at about a 65.87% healthy, which means I've got a pretty good chunk of information on the people in my database. However, most of that is centered on phone numbers and emails. So I can reach out via email and phone number to 98% of my contacts via email and 95% of them via phone. Where my database falls short is I only have 9% of my 900 and some odd people with addresses. I only have 4% of them listed with neighborhoods. Their home anniversaries are 6%, and the birthdays are down to 1%. So what that means, if I was to do a birthday marketing plan to just let people know, hey, happy birthday, only 1% of my database has birthdays that I know of. And so I can only reach out to 1% of them to say happy birthday. The rest of this goes without explaining that the number that's higher means that you can communicate more effectively. Can you get somebody's birthday? Sometimes that can be a little bit iffy. Can you get their home anniversary? You better, if you're transacting with them, either buying or selling. Can you get their neighborhood? You absolutely have their neighborhood information, especially if you did something where you transacted with them. And if you've got their address, you have their neighborhood. So these things tie into each other. Now, in terms of birthdays, one of the things that people think is, well, people don't want to give me their birthday, so how am I going to, effectively collect that? Casual conversation. People don't necessarily want to give out the year of their birth, but they're more than happy to give out the day they were born. Oh, I'm a Pisces. I was born on the 10th of whatever. So we can use the information in social conversations to gather. You should always be listening, always be paying attention, because remember, this is going to improve your business by paying attention to these little things. You might be saying to yourself, Robert, look, you're down into the weeds here and the minutia. And I'm going to argue very, very simply, I'm not, because In this world, we need to pay attention to what's going on. And as real estate agents, the most important thing you have is conversation and dialogue and relationships. That's what this is. So if you're just taking notes, little small notes here and there during your conversations, or if you walk away from a conversation and you have something to take a note on, then you can build your business with these tools. So keep that in mind. All right, I'll stop beating that dead horse. I'm going to come back over to the contact card for Alana here, and we're going to move down into some other areas. Let's talk about these little, what we call tags here. It's right in the middle of this with the screen here. We have Portsmouth, Market Center Leadership, all email, and the news, KNEWS. These are tags that we can group people together by. And, there's a whole, world, and we talk about not putting people into stereotypes and grouping and pigeonholing people. But in marketing, we kind of do demographically. All the different things that we do for marketing involve pigeonholing and categorizing and arranging and organizing, right? So these tags will help you do this. You can add as many tags as you want, and you can create tags on the fly, manage them on the fly, and also manage them as a whole. But the tags mean nothing if they don't have structure. I'll give you an example. Alana Babineau is our marketing and design specialist. If I tagged Alana Babineau in my sphere as marketing specialist or design specialist or graphic designer, if I only have one Alana in my sphere, then tagging her as a graphic designer is going to reveal a list of approximately one person. So it doesn't have a lot of value in the big picture of the database as a whole. So what would be the value of me tagging her with her title? Not much, because I'm not sure how many marketing design specialists I know. So I wouldn't tag her with her role and her title. However, I do have at the bottom of the screen her company and her title as fields that I can add in the About section. So I can utilize that as knowledge, but not necessarily grouping her with other marketing and design specialists. So what I'm saying here with tags is tags should be broad so that you can group people together by those tags. So for example, I use an all email tag so that I make sure that all of my contacts have that tag in there that have emails. So everybody who has an email has this. So what that means is when I go to do marketing, I can grab all of those people and I can put them in a marketing plan. If it's an email plan, boom, done. I could do the same thing if I, said all phone numbers, all the people that have phone numbers, I put them into a big group together, all phone numbers. The news here, this particular tag for my purposes was designed so that I could make sure that in the morning news that we send out, that I send it out to the right people in groups so that they could get that morning news. Here's another one, the Market Center Leadership. I'll show you this one in action here. I'm going to go back to the contact area. And in here, I'm going to go up to the top in my filters. And I'm going to click that little filter and it brings out what we call the filter drawer. And in the tags area for filters, I'm going to type in MC. And that's all I needed to type. And I see there's MC Leadership as a tag. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say filter my entire list to show me those people. And I get a list of 23 people. So if I was going to reach out to these 23 people, market to them, send them an email, whatever I needed to do, I could quickly put these people together in a quick list and then act upon it. This particular filter is purposeful because it gives me a list of people here at the Market Center and their leadership and their position, which is fantastic. But you might find that another type of tag would be beneficial for you. Maybe you have a home that's coming up and it has a swimming pool, and you have judiciously tagged all of the people in your database who have shown interest in swimming pools for properties that they might purchase in the future. Maybe that list comes to 5 people. Maybe it comes to 50. I don't know. But then you could go in here and say, oh my gosh, I got a perfect property for all the people that like swimming pools. And you can filter, grab all those people, put them in a list, and then market to them with an email saying, I've got a property for you. Now, I'm using something just really kind of generic, a swimming pool, but you can think about tags as being the grouping tool that puts together everyone that you need to market to. Okay. All kinds of tags. Now, I do a tag class. I'm not doing one this month, but I think we'll probably do one next month. And I will show you what the color coding and how to organize and develop a tag structure that will make sense to you. And it's going to be you. There's not one tag structure that's suiting for everybody. So I'll show you that next month, and we'll talk about that. Okay. So that's our tagging structure here. A lot of questions on what is this mark as lead, Robert? What does that mean? Marking as a lead. Well, when someone comes into your database and they are an unmet, someone you have not met, if they are an unknown, they are a lead. An unmet is someone that you have not had the opportunity to establish a relationship, a dialogue with. They are not your client. They're not your customer. They're someone that you haven't talked to. Leads are critical. As you know, when we talk about getting leads, a lead is someone that you don't know. So we got to get leads, and then we got to convert those leads into contacts. A contact is someone that you can reach out to. They have given you their permission to reach out to them and market to them. When I choose mark as lead here and I put that little checkbox, I get a little green L here up at the top next to Alana's name. If I go back to my contact list and I want to look at all of my leads, I'm going to go ahead and clear all the filters here, clear everything. And I want to see all of the people in my database who are leads. I can use the filter and I can come over here and say, you know what? I've got all contacts or leads, or if it's unchecked all around, it's everybody lead and contact. But here I'll say, show me the leads. Show me just the people that I really need to focus on to turn them into contacts. My list right now is 77 people. I have 77 people in my database that are unmet, that I have not spoken with, and I haven't earned the right to have a conversation with them about doing business. These are the people that I need to reach out to. So that's what that lead is for, is unmets. And when you do finally have that opportunity to convert them from a lead to a contact, we just uncheck that. And now they can be added to all of the other areas. There's no physical restrictions on a lead being, in a smart plan or, tasklings or anything like that. It's a visual guide for you so that you can organize people who are leads and people who you already have dialogue with. All right, a little bit further down in here, I'm going to skip over lead source. This is basically just where this lead came from, which we also can use tags to do that kind of stuff. The account really doesn't matter if you're a solo agent here. If you are an agent on a team, this becomes a more important tool, but we're not going to talk about that now. In the neighborhood section, I really am a fan of using this because it's such an automated system to keep in touch with your contacts. And all it does is it reaches out and gives them information about neighborhoods that they either live in currently or that they might be thinking about moving to. And what's nice about this is you can add multiple neighborhoods in anywhere you want. You can add multiple neighborhoods in multiple states if you want. So this neighborhood tool is a really good way to stay in touch. Let me break this down for you though. Just doing what we've done here for Alana, where we pulled in a zip code and we said South Islington, and there's a little map here that shows that particular area. Just because we have attached a neighborhood to this contact, they are not receiving any information. And a lot of people see that over on the right-hand side here, they see, as of today, April 12th, when I attached South Islington to Alana Babineau as a neighborhood, it said subscribed to neighborhoods. Nothing is going out via email to Alana. The subscribe to neighborhood, the word subscribed is a very poor word to describe what we've done here. We have added a neighborhood to their contact information, but we are not informing them yet about the information inside that neighborhood, what's available. So subscribed is a bad word, but what we've done is we've attached a neighborhood. To actually allow them to receive information about the neighborhood, we use smart plans. And there is 2 smart plans that are built by Keller Williams that make this work. One of them is the monthly neighborhood nurture. It's an automatic smart plan that goes out once a month and finds the information about properties available in the neighborhood that we've selected or neighborhoods and sends them an email. The other one is identical, except for it's bi-weekly, so every other week. To add someone to a smart plan that has neighborhoods, you just click Smart Plan, Add to Smart Plan, and you will find your Neighborhood Nurture Program. If you have not added the Neighborhood Nurture Program to your database, I'm going to start this in a couple of days so that I can actually delete it when I'm done. We'll start in 20 seconds. Once you've added someone to a smart plan, okay, and this one here is kind of wait until that date triggers 4/12 when it was added, but it's going to go out in a few days. If they do not have a neighborhood attached and you attach a smart plan anyway, then no information is going to be sent because no neighborhood can be passed to the smart plan. So when we think about smart plans and neighborhood nurtures, they go hand in hand. Smart plans that don't have neighborhoods don't go out. Neighborhoods that are not added to smart plans don't go out. So they work together. Take that.
So will the smart plan, will you be able to delineate like condominiums versus single family homes and price ranges and things of that nature?
Okay, great question. The answer is no. And here's why. A smart plan is not a saved search. It is not a search parameter. What it is it's a notification of properties that have hit the MLS. That's it. Okay? So a neighborhood attached to a neighborhood nurture smart plan just blankets the area, and the blanket area is South Islington. And it says, these are the properties that have come on the market since you last looked, or even what was there, if it's still there. In this market, they're usually not. So the answer is no. This does not have any criteria for the property. The good news is that this is not supposed to. The purpose of this is not to inform them of the property that they're looking for. The purpose of this is to just let them know if the property is available. The saved search over here on the far right is what you're looking for. And the saved search option allows you to create a very tight search for information that says, for Alana Babineau, she is looking for specifically South Islington, and she has a max price range, and she has all the things that you would expect here. And she has, a requirement for 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, whatever it is. So we have all of these tools that we can create a unique search for that individual. Okay. So save searches.
Can you do a daily thing where they get something every day?
Yes. A save search is a parameter search. Let me go ahead and bring one up here, and I'll say 03801 and no neighborhood. Oh, it's got to search by zip code. Sorry. 03801. And okay. So we'll just go, I'll just do that really quick here and say, well, everything in A301. Oh, okay. And when I click next, it says, okay, so this one here is for all property. And of course, mainly because I didn't do anything more. And then here it says send email notifications. Well, yes, that's how I want her to receive it. And then it goes, okay, so what do we want to do here? Do you want to do just one and send it out right now within 30 minutes and she gets that? And then it stops. Or do you want to do a daily summary at 9 o'clock every morning, Central's time? Do you want to do a weekly summary, a bi-weekly summary, or a monthly summary? So you get the choice of how it goes out and when it goes out. And then when you
Do
do
you
that,
have to be synced with, do you have to be synced with Naren for this to work? Because I'm not synced with Naren yet. I'm getting my first tutorial for Naren tonight. So
that's a very interesting question. My initial reaction is no, because this has nothing to do with you and Naren. This is just using the MLS information through the back end search inside of Keller Williams. I don't think this has anything to do with you specifically. But let me clarify, even though I'm saying that, your information would be overlaid on top of the search results, and it has nothing to do with whether or not these are properties that you're associated with or anything like that. This is just a search result combined with your information on an email and presented to the user. That's all that is.
and both parties are emailed, myself as the agent and my client.
Another good question. No, you do not receive an email, which is why when we were talking I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I mentioned that one of the things that we want to make sure you do as agents is experiment with these things, look at the results and see what's going on. I talked with another agent, I think it was you, Michelle, where I said that you should create one of these saved property searches under your contact for the same, like this one's for Alana, right? If you want to see what Alana is receiving, then you should create a second version of this under your contact so that you receive it. And you can even call that search for Alana's properties so that you know what it looks like when it comes through. That way, as an agent, you would receive daily, weekly, whatever it is, and you would go, oh, Alana, her search just came through to me, and there's a house that matches what she was talking about. I should reach out to her and see if she took a look at it. And if not, direct her to the page so that she did. Because, you're probably catching things as an agent faster than she might. She might take 2 or 3 days to look at that property, which by then it could be gone. Okay. So you're kind of, and that's what this whole, here, I'll tie this all in for you into a nice little bow. After you've created the search, then you go and create one for yourself. And then you come back to Alana here into the tasks area, and you set yourself a recurring task to remind yourself, because this is an active, if you're doing this kind of a search, this is going to be top of mind stuff. Create yourself a recurring task here, a task that is going to remind you to look at Alana's research results, and if something pops up, to reach out and call her. And this will show up on your mobile device if you're using the KW Command mobile app, and it will show up inside Command. So, and of course, you'll receive the emails. That's the kind of horsepower that we have in this system for you to stay on top of the relationship with your contacts. Okay, so let's move down a little bit further here. And oh, by the way, one of the things that when you do select a neighborhood, it gives you suggestions for neighborhoods that are in the region or in the area, and you can do that here. So you can actually add additional ones. All right. In the additional contact information, there's a preferred contact method, and there's a multiple emails that you can have. So if you have I think it's up to 5 emails and up to 5 phone numbers. So you can put additional contact information in here, which is fantastic. If you do have multiple phone numbers, you may not be able to reach them at this top number. So you just slide down a little bit and go, well, let me try them at phone number 2 or phone number 3 or phone number 4. So that can make a big difference there. When we talked about the health of your database, one of the things is we have the work address and we have the mailing address. Okay. And essentially I labeled this as work, although you could make this the home address. You could make this any ones you want. This can be used in direct mail marketing in the campaigns. So we can direct mail to Alana because we have her address, both for her work and for her mailing address if necessary. We also have a slot here for a legal name. And this is fine. This is awesome because, as I mentioned before, we don't want to put somebody's, full middle name here, or if they're the trustee of something like that, we can put that information down in their legal name area. This does not, and I'll say it again, this does not transfer as documentation information to DocuSign. This is for you as a reference point. You can't just say, oh, use the legal name on the paperwork. You would just use this as a reference and then add it where required. You can have a bunch of different URLs, and they call it social profiles here, but I like to think of them as just web addresses, no matter what they are. You can have a whole bunch of these, and what this is nice for is if you are about to reach out to somebody and you haven't talked to them in a little while, if you have their Facebook page information, which is so easy to get, you can add that URL here, and then when you click on it, you can take yourself directly to their Facebook page, do a 5-minute Facebook stalk, catch yourself up on what's going on in their life before you make a phone call, and now you know where they're at. So using a little bit of social engineering to become that person in their life that knows about them. And so I like to talk about these URLs as your database of current information and current knowledge about what these people are going through in their lives. So don't be afraid to use those, and they can be very helpful when you want to just check up on somebody. And also, maybe you are just doing, okay, today from 8 to 9, I'm going to do a quick little Facebook stalk on 20 people and see what's going on. And you come across somebody because of this little link here that just, had a baby, bought a car, whatever. You can call them and congratulations, or post on their Facebook page because you are proactively reaching out. So use these social profiles to reach out to people. In the about section at the very bottom here, we have a description, which is basically, Alana is the market center market center design specialist. I met her at a networking event in January, had a great conversation about her 2 kids going off to college in 2023. Want to probably reach out to her and talk about selling her home. And that can just sit there. It's just information. But of course, you would probably want to make yourself a task to reach out to her in 6 months and see how things are going, and see if her kids have picked a place to live and if she's ready to sell her house. So you can combine all of these things in here. All right. Home anniversary and birthday. I mentioned birthday. Remember, we didn't have it a year. So we have at least a day. So September 8th. And that, by the way, is Alana's birthday. And this is a perfect, honest to God, legitimate example of social engineering. Alana and I were talking a few weeks ago, and she just casually mentioned that her birthday was September 8th, which is about 3 days after my daughter's. And I was like, oh, September 8th, that's really cool. I never said a word to her. I just went to her contact information and it had September 8th. Done. I just put it in there and I forgot all about it. And now if I was to do something with a birthday smart plan for her, I now have her birthday. Just paying attention and acting on that information took care of it. We have a home anniversary, again, buying or selling. And then we have the relationships where we can add multiple people, up to 5 different people, mother, brother, sister, father, whatever. And we have where they work if we have that information. Again, it's not so much that you're going to use this information in a marketing plan, but just being able to say, oh, hey, you know what? She's at Keller Williams over there. Maybe in 6 months or a year or 2, you don't want to check in on her. You go to her Facebook page and find out she's updated and she's living in a different area. Maybe she needs a new house. So these things that are inside of this contact card all tie across here to the right. And so I mentioned at the very beginning, we have a timeline. If I want to send an email to Alana, all I have to do is click on her email account, the address right there. And what I'm going to get in 1 or 2 seconds when this decides to load up, hopefully it will. Let me refresh this page because it doesn't seem to be loading. Because we have connected Gmail. Oh, it might not be connected. All right. Well, if Gmail is connected, then when you click this, it will open up your Gmail and it will allow you to quickly send an email, which will then be recorded here. So you'll see the email that you sent to Alana here, and you can reference it. The same thing if I made a phone call. By clicking on her phone number, I can choose to call her. Now, this is twofold. We can call physically from the phone on a Mac. FaceTime is built in, so you can actually do a FaceTime call without the video. You can do a FaceTime call, or with the phone information that you have here, if you're on a PC, you can just punch that into your phone, call them, and then you can add that conversation to the timeline by clicking on add to timeline, and it will actually log when you called them, and you can actually add notes and stuff like that. Okay. So there's the way that you interact with the contact here in the contact card. All of your information should stay here so that when you do reach out to Alana again, you've got an entire history in the timeline about all the things. And look at this. Alana and I have had a lot of conversations. So this is a perfect example. I could go back, say, Alana, on August 25th is when I sent you that postcard. So you want to go check and see if it came in. So the timeline is automatic. It will record everything for you. Your opportunities area is where you create and manage opportunities for individual people. Briefly here, one of the things that happens when people first start using Command is they see the contact area, but they also see this area called opportunities on the left. And they think that all opportunities must be created, managed, and transacted from that section. It's in fact quite the opposite. The contact, Alana in this case, when we have an opportunity, we create the opportunity and manage that opportunity from the contact. The opportunities area of Command, or the opportunities applet, is for the overall picture of your entire business, including all of your potential income, your probable income, all of the transactions themselves, all of the different opportunities throughout your entire pipeline as a business, not as an individual management. We don't come here to look for a specific transaction. This gets really kind of weighed down and bogged down in the mud for looking for individual transactions. You should always go to the contact for the transaction that you're looking for an individual transaction and manage it from there. Okay. There we go. And we're back into Alana. So again, we can see that we have one opportunity for Alana that we're working on, and hopefully that will grow over time, maybe 50 or 60 opportunities for each individual person. The smart plans, we had added her to a smart plan, which by the way, I'm going to delete now because I don't want her to actually receive that smart plan. And our tasks, this is where you can manage individual things that you need to take care of. And again, if you're using Command Mobile, anything that you put here in tasks is going to ping you on your phone. So this is a great way, check in with Alana in 6 weeks to see if she'd like to have a conversation about, listing her house because her kids are getting ready to go off to college, whatever it is. Or tasks during a transaction where check in with Alana tomorrow morning to see if she's got the paperwork ready for the blah, 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 whatever. All right. Now I mentioned the notes area and I said to you that it was my favorite area. So I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to come over here to a brand new tab and I'm going to go into, I'll go into an email. So I'm going to go into an email. Actually, no, because I'll confuse you if I do that. Let me do it this way. I'm going to go to our Google Drive. All right. So this is our Google Drive with all of the shared resources for you as agents. And inside this Google Drive, Alana and I were talking about the logos. So I'll go to the approved. Where's my approved? Word show. That's mine. Here, my saved one. Hang on. Drive. Oh my God. I want a specific thing. Forget it. I'll just do it. I'll just do it normal. All right. So I'll say Alana and I were working on a document, and here's the document. I'm going to open it up in the Drive. And I look at this document and I'm like, you know what? I need to be able to reference this with Alana. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this into a new window so that we can see just this one document. Okay. And I'm going to take that link and I'm going to copy that link. Now this applies to anything on the internet. So it doesn't matter where I'm going. I'm just using a document as an example. It's in a Google Drive, but it literally does not matter. It's just a web address. I'm going to come back to Command, and in the notes area, I'm going to click Add Note, and I'm going to say Drive Document. And I'm going to put the link for that document in the description. And I'm going to say add note. So now I have, there's the document here, and here is the drive location. So I'll close up these other things here, get rid of them. We're just working here. Now, Alana and I are talking, or maybe we have a meeting on Tuesday, and I need to look at that document. All that searching that I did a moment ago to find that is now out the window, because now all I have to do is select it here, right click, and say go to. And now it's going to open up that document. And what I love about this is if you're having a conversation with someone, you can create a little document repository for anything on the web. It doesn't matter where it is or what it is. And you can now have instant access to it. Let me show you another contact that I have that I demonstrate this with often. Here's the contact. And in the notes area, there are 5 notes. Jackie Astudo has a folder in Google Drive that I've been keeping all of her documents. So I just go ahead and select that and say, go to that drive. Here's a folder with all of the documents for Jackie Astudo for our entire transaction. Movies, PDFs, Excel files, doc files, all that stuff. In addition to a Google Drive folder, if you use Dropbox, you can create a folder on Dropbox and have an address for that. Same thing. Go to Dropbox. And now here's all the documents for Jackie in one place in Dropbox. I think you get the idea here. Here's a Trello card. If you use, different types of project management tools. Here's a Trello card. It's probably going to ask me to sign in. Yeah, it's going to sign in to see the board because I'm signed in a couple days. Here's a DocuSign room. The room for Jackie's documents in DocuSign. Here's the DocuSign room. Go to this. It's going to log me in. It's going to take me directly in to the room with Jackie's transaction. This way, I don't even have to open up the opportunity and go to the documents folder and do all that stuff. Instant access to her DocuSign room. This is why I love the notes area. It really can keep you organized with your contacts. So you should totally think about this. Now, why do I bring this up, and why is this all something that is kind of part of the bigger picture of contacts? CRM, customer relationship management. It's in the name. When we are able to manage our relationship in one page, here it is, you guys. One page is the entire management of this contact. If I know that everything that I'm doing with this contact can be found here, and I'm diligent about organizing it here, then I never have to thumb through Post-it notes. I never have to worry about what drive I put things on, where they are on the internet, where's their documents, where am I at with what I need to get accomplished. None of that. This is a very powerful tool. And if you are not going to use it for all of the things that it can do, just use it for one thing: customer relationship management. I feel like I should do a mic drop there. All right. Questions on what we've covered here. There's so much in here that it does take some experimenting. I think it's a really cool tool. So do you have any questions on what we've covered? And, Ruben, you've asked some great questions about how some of these things work. Has anything else popped into your mind?
Well, yeah, I was, while you were doing that, I was looking at some of the contacts I've made. Let me just pop back in there real quick. So I realized I left out a lot of information. I want to insert some of that information. I'm looking at my one contact, and I'm like, oh, her name, it's actually a client now. Her name in the additional contact information is incorrectly spelled, and I don't know how to get in there and edit it.
Yeah, right.
Edit, and it wouldn't take me down there. It stopped short of the neighborhood at where I added the neighborhood.
Wait, are you
So
saying
when I
that?
hit edit,
Yeah, you hit edit and you get this
when
box
I
that
hit
pops
edit
up.
and I scroll down, it
Yeah.
stopped. The last place available to edit is tags, where I put myself as the agent.
Do you see where it says
it's
add
not
more
bringing me
information?
into. Say again.
Underneath tags, it says add more information. You see that?
Underneath tags.
So look at my screen. And at the very bottom, when you're in the edit window, if you slide all the way down to the bottom, under tags, it should say add more information.
It's not coming up.
Okay. So you see
Could be. Yeah, I maybe it's because it's. Let me put it on the bigger screen. See if it shows up. No, it's not showing up.
Okay, so you see the contact name when you're looking at the card. So this looks normal, right? This part here is normal.
Yeah.
And when you click the edit button,
Yes.
there's it does not allow you to scroll past where it says tags, and there's nothing
Yes,
below.
it does. It does. It does. It's not showing up on my smallest screen. It's weird.
Gotcha. So when you click add more
And it won't
information,
let
you
me
can
scroll
see
down to it.
there's the additional contact information about and custom.
All right. Now it's working. It wasn't working.
All righty.
So that answers that question.
Yeah, in each of those, there's different sections where you can adjust and edit the information about them.
I got it. For
Perfect.
some reason, it wasn't letting me scroll down.
Awesome. Okay. Michelle, any questions for me?
No, I'm good. Yeah, this thing looks great. I love that you can save the documents.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Contact.
I just think that it's such a great idea that, we want to be able to control the relationship in one spot, but we do scatter things, right? We put them in Google Drive or Dropbox or wherever. But if you're going to do that, at least make those links so that at least you can get there quickly, right? So I just love that.
Yeah, I love that.
All right. If there's no other questions, it looks like the Facebook area is clear. I think I'll go ahead and let you guys go. At 3:00 today, we're going to open up and start talking about your agent website, which is down here under the consumer tab. And we're going to start building your website. If you're going to join me for that, make sure that you have completed your marketing profile underneath your settings area, because nothing happens in the agent website unless the marketing profile is complete. So without this being done, we cannot build our website. So if you're going to join me at 3, we'll see you then. Until then, have an awesome day, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care.